In the year 2026, the world had grown increasingly unstable, with fragile regions becoming battlegrounds for influence, ideology, and survival. Among these regions, the Sahel stood out as one of the most volatile, a vast stretch of land where borders blurred and armed groups operated in the shadows. It was here, deep within an isolated desert village, that a dangerous militant faction had seized control, capturing innocent civilians and turning the settlement into a fortified stronghold. Among the hostages were two French nationals, a development that immediately triggered alarm within the highest levels of the French government. In Paris, inside a highly secured and technologically advanced command center, Commander Lucas Moreau stood at the center of a tense and focused team of analysts, intelligence officers, and military strategists. The room was filled with the soft hum of machines, glowing screens displaying satellite feeds, drone footage, and streams of encrypted data. Every movement in the village was being monitored, every heat signature analyzed, every possible risk calculated. The situation was clear, time was critical, and the margin for error was non-existent. Commander Moreau, a seasoned officer with decades of experience, understood the gravity of the mission. He had seen operations fail before, had witnessed the cost of hesitation and miscalculation. This time, there was no room for either. With calm authority, he gave the order to deploy Task Unit Echo, one of the most elite French Special Forces units trained for precisely this kind of high-risk, high-stakes mission. Within minutes, the team was mobilized at a military airbase, their preparations swift and methodical. Captain Julien Renault, the team leader, stood at the forefront, his demeanor composed yet intensely focused. He was a man shaped by years of combat experience, someone who had learned to make decisions in fractions of seconds and live with the consequences forever. Alongside him were Sergeant Amira Benali, a sniper known for her unmatched precision and steady nerves; Leo Martin, a young but brilliant tech specialist capable of manipulating advanced drone systems and electronic warfare tools; and Thomas Gerard, the team's medic, whose calm presence often served as the emotional anchor of the group. As they boarded the transport aircraft, there was little conversation. Each member of the team was mentally preparing, reviewing their role, anticipating scenarios, and readying themselves for the unknown. Once airborne, the interior of the aircraft transformed into a mobile planning hub. Holographic projections displayed the layout of the village, highlighting potential entry points, patrol routes, and suspected enemy positions. Martin provided a detailed briefing based on the latest drone surveillance, noting that there were at least 20 armed militants in the area, possibly more hidden within buildings. Renault listened carefully, asking precise questions, adjusting the plan where necessary. The objective was simple in theory, but complex in execution: infiltrate the village undetected, secure the hostages, and extract without unnecessary casualties. But as Benali quietly remarked, nothing about such missions was ever truly simple. Hours later, under the cover of darkness, the aircraft reached its drop point. The team prepared for a halo jump, a high-altitude, low-opening parachute insertion designed to minimize detection. One by one, they leapt into the night sky, their bodies cutting silently through the cold air before their parachutes deployed just above the ground. They landed several kilometers away from the village, regrouping quickly and beginning their approach on foot. The desert was silent, vast, and unforgiving, every step taken with caution to avoid detection. As they neared the village perimeter, they observed the movements of the guards, noting patterns and identifying vulnerabilities. Renault issued silent commands through hand signals, and the team split into positions with practiced precision. Benali took up a sniper position, her rifle steady as she aligned her sights on two guards stationed at a northern watch point. She controlled her breathing, waited for the perfect moment, and fired two suppressed shots in quick succession. Both targets fell without a sound. Meanwhile, Martin deployed a compact drone, sending it into the village to gather real-time intelligence. The feed appeared instantly in their visors, providing a dynamic, three-dimensional map of the area. It was a technological advantage that gave them an edge, but even the best tools could not eliminate unpredictability. As the team advanced further into the village, moving from shadow to shadow, something went wrong. A militant, perhaps more alert than the others, noticed a slight movement, a flicker that didn't belong. Within seconds, an alarm was raised, shattering the silence and plunging the mission into chaos. Gunfire erupted as militants scrambled to respond, shouting orders and firing in all directions. Renault immediately adapted, shifting from stealth to direct engagement. He and Gerard moved swiftly toward the building where the hostages were believed to be held, breaching the entrance with controlled force. Inside, they found the captives bound and terrified, their relief evident as Renault identified himself and assured them of their rescue. Outside, Benali maintained her position, providing critical sniper support, taking down enemies with lethal accuracy and preventing them from closing in on her teammates. Martin, working under immense pressure, activated electronic countermeasures, disrupting enemy communications and creating confusion among their ranks. As the situation intensified, enemy reinforcements began arriving, vehicles kicking up clouds of dust as they approached the village. The team knew their window for extraction was rapidly closing. Gerard worked quickly to free the hostages, checking them for injuries and preparing them for movement. Renault coordinated their escape, guiding them through narrow alleys and avoiding heavily guarded areas. Every step was contested, every second filled with danger. The militants, now fully aware of the intrusion, fought back fiercely, attempting to surround and eliminate the team. Amid the chaos, Gerard was struck by a bullet, the impact sending him to the ground. For a brief moment, time seemed to slow as Renault turned back, concern flashing across his face. But Gerard, despite the pain, insisted on continuing, refusing to jeopardize the mission. With determination and teamwork, they pressed forward, reaching the designated extraction point at the edge of the village. The sound of an approaching helicopter brought a sense of urgency and hope. However, the final stretch was the most dangerous. Enemy forces converged on their position, firing relentlessly in an attempt to stop them. Benali took a risky, elevated position, exposing herself to enemy fire but gaining a clear line of sight. One by one, she neutralized the advancing threats, buying precious seconds for the others. The helicopter touched down under heavy fire, its blades kicking up sand and debris as the team rushed to board. Renault helped the hostages inside, then turned to assist Girard, ensuring he was safely aboard. Benali was the last to move, taking one final shot before sprinting toward the helicopter and jumping in as it lifted off. As the aircraft ascended into the night sky, the chaos below faded into silence. Inside, the atmosphere shifted from tension to quiet relief. The hostages, still shaken, began to process their rescue, gratitude, and disbelief evident in their expressions. Girard, despite his injury, managed a faint smile as he received medical attention. Renault sat back, his face calm, but his mind still processing the events. The mission had been completed, but not without cost. Back in Paris, Commander Moreau watched as the operation concluded successfully. He allowed himself a brief moment of relief, acknowledging the skill and bravery of the team. When the team returned to base at dawn, there were no grand celebrations, no dramatic speeches, just a quiet understanding among them of what they had achieved and what they had endured. They walked together, united by experience, bound by a sense of duty that went beyond recognition or reward. For them, this was not about glory or acknowledgement. It was about doing what needed to be done, no matter the risk, no matter the cost. Their actions embodied the very essence of their motto, Au Delà Du Possible, beyond the possible. It was not just a phrase, but a way of life, a commitment to push past limits, to face the impossible and overcome it through skill, courage, and unwavering determination. In the end, their story was not one of heroes seeking admiration, but of professionals operating in the shadows, ensuring safety and stability in a world that often teetered on the edge of chaos. They were the unseen guardians, the silent force that acted when others could not, living proof that sometimes the impossible is only a challenge waiting to be met.